Greetings and welcome to the 1-6 Scale Man proudly presents another episode of You Know What It Is. It's the corner, man. And I told you that we were going to be here today. Now, again, this is a video, so I felt compelled to do this particular video because it is Black History Month. And in celebration of Black History Month, it is worth having discussions about things that are completely relevant in the space of collecting. So this is why I wanted to kind of do this particular video, because I feel as though there are some things that need to be said. Culturally, we are diverse in this nation, and it is a space where we want to be seen, but also on the silver screen, there are spaces where we want to see people that look like us and represent who we are. To say that, you know what, to the young boys and girls and the young, individuals out there, that they can achieve at a high level and everything and all things that are possible in the world. And subjectively, that's been challenged. And I felt as though this needed to be talked about in the collecting community because, again, we're as diverse as we are. I don't think that we see a lot of diversity in the things that we collect. So I just wanted to take a few moments to kind of talk about these things. Again, kind of stir the pot a little bit. Now, I know this video is not going to be for everybody. Not everybody's going to like what I'm about to say and the things that I will be saying in this video, because again, some people see things differently and they like to blanket the situation instead of challenging it head on. Some people will basically say that they don't agree with the notion. They don't like to call out these companies because of the simple fact that they represent, or they might have the occasional relationships with these particular companies. So they feel as though that they have to safeguard their opinions. Me, myself, I have no loyalty to any company. I have loyalty to the art form. I have loyalty to the figures that I collect, but I also have loyalty to my people and all people out there that are of diversity because they need to be seen. It doesn't matter if you're Black, Hispanic, Asian, white, whatever your sexual preferences may be. The LGBTQ definitely represent, and the Black community itself is in representation, again, coming from a, predominantly Black and Hispanic background, my mother being African-American and Native American as well. She's Choctaw Indian and also coming from a Cuban father. I felt as though that, again, a lot of this needs to be talked about. And there's a lot of representation. I was talking to Toya about this. We came up with the idea. She was like, I think you should do it. I think it's a space that you should have these conversations, because if you don't, who else will? And it's not being on it's not getting on a soapbox, but I think it's more so one of those situations where, as a Black man living in today's society, and especially with this political climate, a lot of things are being challenged. And I think that a lot of us have been, or there's an agenda to silence us all. So we have to use our voices, use the power that we are given as people, and on top of that, our freedom of speech to say the things that we want to actually say. So I just wanted to keep it in the realm of collecting, because some things that I noticed, things that I feel as though have been kind of glossed over, we want to talk about that. But before we get into that, I want to actually say what's up to the places where we actually get these figures from, because it's always worth mentioning. And these places have been good to me, so I am equally good to them. Starting off, definitely I have to start off because, again, without them, I wouldn't be where I am right now each and every week. So I do definitely want to start off first off with my man, 50 grand always every day, Ray over there at Underground Figures. If you're looking for the latest and the greatest, no NRD, shipping and handling is definitely reasonable. Hit him up, he will definitely take care of you. Make sure that you sign up for that newsletter. She always up to date as to when your figure is going to be released or presented, or when you're going to receive it. You just head on over there, tell him I sent you and he got your back. Also got to give a shout out to my man Ray, Hawk Wars Ray, that is. Again, everybody knows him in the community, takes care of everybody. Not only do you get a nice little care package with your figure, stickers, and comic books, but best believe you're going to probably get your package arriving with or smelling like Cool Water, because his name is what? Cool Water Ray. Definitely got to give him a shout out. Again, he has the latest and greatest pieces, grail pieces that you might be looking for. He got it for you. Head on over there, talk to Ray, let him know I sent you. He'll take care of you. He got your back, as always. Do want to also give a shout out to my bro Jacob over there, Watch Your Six. is over there at Comic Relief and Comic Collectibles. If you're looking not only for comic books, 1/10 scale, quarter scale, anything you're looking for, he got it. He'll definitely make sure that you are taken care of, well taken care of in the community. You have all that you need to proceed. So definitely got to give my bro, my guy, number one, Ace Koom Boom Koom, shout out. And last but not least, definitely got to give a shout out to my man, Brian Wong over there at Maju Case Maju Space. Now I have the mono in my collection. I'm actually going to get another one from him, but I'm telling you, it's worth having. These pieces right here are worth having. But you have all of your own collecting choices, not only just the mono, but there are other pieces out there that you can actually get, and I think that you will love first and foremost. So definitely head on over there, tell him I sent you, and he will definitely take great care of you. Now, again, shout out if you were actually watching this video and you were spending time with me, because again, these things are worth talking about. Now, in the age of collecting, again, we love these things. We spend money on it. And a lot of this represents our childhood. It represents a space, a nostalgic influence on everything that we love and everything that we've grown up with, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, DC, your animated series, you know, whether it's cartoons, anything, statues that you collect are representation of that. Figures that you collect are representation of that. But here's the thing. We know that it's a very diverse, you know, the world is really diverse. And again, you have young kids, and I remember being a young kid growing up, and I was like, you know what? First series superhero that I was actually submersed in, because again, you know, within a household, it shows that we actually, you know, watched, you know, Mr. Reeves animated, or actually not animated, the television show back early on. Was where I was connected to George Reeves before we got Christopher Reeves in the cinematic universe. And again, you know, a lot of talk back then was like the average superhero. We didn't know. I mean, it could have been naive, but it was like, you know what? I always wanted to be Superman in the very beginning. I was then introduced, you know, later on, you know, one of my first comics that I ever collected, Strange Tales, Doctor Strange. I was like, I would love to be Doctor Strange, deal with magic and stuff like that. And then of course, you know, we have Spider-Man, you have the Incredible Hulk, you have all these particular heroes, but there was not too many heroes that I knew back then that looked like me. But then we actually got none other than Luke Cage. We started getting, you know, the Black Panther, T'Challa himself. You know, we got, you know, the Falcon himself, Sam Wilson, and then the list goes on. And we started getting introduced to more diversity in the community. Namor, you know, the X-Men, who basically represented everything that we know, you know, as far as even right now, it spoke so much to me in the current climate, you know, of where you have people that are different, but they aren't accepted for being different. So of course they're challenged, they're met with so much adversity, and they find a way, always find a way, and they're still fighting till this day to be accepted. And that goes so far as to say this is how we are currently in this current political climate. But keeping it in the collecting community, we always said that the things that we collect, whether it was back then Hasbro, Mattel, you know, coming up, you know, we have some of the scales, the different scales, 12 scale, you know, 10 scale, things that we are actually looking for, or things that we've wanted in the collecting community that we actually started collecting. I remember I started collecting Star Wars, from Star Wars to G.I. Joe, Transformers, you name it, you know, I had it. Shogun Warriors, everything back then, I was always into it. Started collecting. My collecting, you know, kind of took, you know, a back seat for a while once I got older, you know, going to college. But then I picked it back up, got right back into it. Force Awakens, I'm not Force Awakens. Phantom Menace was, you know, introduced. Star Wars was always my jam, so I got right back into it. Picked up where I left off. I've always been a comic collector. Star Wars itself has always been influenced by diversity. Even from the New Hope, you saw that it was a diverse group of individuals, from aliens to human beings. But again, George never diverted from showing that he wanted an inclusive universe and basically an inclusive galaxy, because we were all full of colors, and that's what it was all about. Now, again, moving on, let's fast forward to now, you know, when we're basically looking at some of these IPs, some of the most popular figureheads and the IPs that we have, right now. Things that we always say that we want to connect mainly to nostalgia. We're really, really connected to nostalgia. And some of the pieces that we collect, we want to see ourselves through that. We want to be able to connect through that. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to throw any shade because there have been, at least I will say that Hot Toys as a company has, delved into that level of diversity, but I'll say this. Yes, you've given us diverse characters. You've given us different characters that we may, or some people may have asked for or wanted, but it was also by popular choice. And we know basically the popular voice or the popular vote always takes, it's front and center, but you can't, and also you can't basically create figures sheerly off of the simple fact that it might be $1 billion franchise that you're trying to capitalize on, knowing damn well you wouldn't have if it was any other way. Okay. Case in point, we already know Black Panther was $1 billion franchise or $1 billion film when it was released. So it made sense to have characters like T'Challa. It made sense to have Killmonger. It had made sense to make, to have Shuri, or even to T'Chaka, his father. It made sense to have those characters because at that time, it was a cultural phenomenon when it was released. It was one of the first all centered around Black superhero films on camera in Africa, let alone. So it spoke volumes. So that made sense to actually have those characters front and center in your collecting community. But here's the thing. There's one character from that film that for some reason, and I don't know what it is, and I can't say what I have no idea, but one particular character that has not actually got her due. And I don't know what it is. Now, I don't want to sit in the space and say that it might be, because we always lean on this, right? We lean on the excuse that it's because of licensing. That's the excuse that we have a tendency to lean on, licensing. But when I look at this, and again, same actress who plays Michonne, you know what I mean? So we have this Denai, she plays, Michonne. We had, 3-0 that produced this figure and done it well. And shout out to 3-0 for giving us that Michonne figure. But for some reason, aside from like your Marvel Legends or your Hasbro, and besides those particular companies, in 6 scale, we haven't gotten this figure yet at all. And I'm wondering why. Like, what is the real reason why this figure that we see right here has not gotten her just due? And it's not just her. It's not just her. I just wanted to start with this because it's been one of the most popular conversations is Okoye. Why haven't we got this figure? We can't basically say that, okay, it's clearly licensing, because I'm going to tell you like this, as a company, whether you're Hot Toys, InArt, Jazz Inc., or whoever, you're going to put your money where your mouth is. If you want something, you're going to go hard for it. And this is a popular character. So again, I just say that if you really want it to happen, you'll make it happen with no excuses at all. If you want it to happen, right? That's the part of it that really, for some reason, doesn't make much sense to me. Okay, let's move on. One of the most successful shows on Disney Plus. Really successful. Maybe the numbers weren't there, but she was a very successful character that was definitely worth having a figure. And on top of that, it was teased, but never revisited. And that's Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel was a very good, the ratings for this particular show were incredible. It was highly accepted, so much that she was also even featured in the Marvel's films. Now, again, I know what people feel about that film, but the character is a very popular character. And I think for her first entry into like the cinematic universe and one of her first acting gigs, she killed this. She was phenomenal in the role and she killed it. And I definitely want to see this character again. Hopefully we'll see her again in either Doomsday or, Secret Wars. I'm hoping that we see this character again because she's an amazing actress, but also it's an incredible character. Why we didn't get this figure, I have no idea. And I'm pretty sure it was not a licensing issue because as she's a geek, number one. She's a comic book geek. She has been already submerged into this world. She loves it. Why haven't we got this character yet? What is the excuse? Hot Toys or anyone else? What's the excuse for it? Haven't been able to pin that down. Don't know. You introduce it. You say that basically it was something. It was something that was teased, but we never got it. Was it popular vote? Don't know. Doesn't make sense to me. No excuse at all. Moving on. Another character from the same movie that was introduced was Monica Rambeau. Now, we got a tease of her character in WandaVision, right? We got your Visions. We got your Wanda. But she was also another important, powerful character in the show. Never got that character. Never got this figure. And made the transition to the cinematic universe in the Marvels. Never got this character. Now, there's still hope because, again, they have to kind of clear up that story and finish it. Marvel has to actually go in. You got to clear it up. You've already introduced that. Again, it's an alternate universe. And again, we're dealing with the multiverse. She's in a universe where the 97 X-Men exist. And a version of her mother, which is basically binary, is in that universe. So that's going to have to be fixed and explained. Maybe down the road we'll get this. Maybe if she's featured in the Secret Wars, then we'll probably get that. If they choose to bring her in, which I'm hoping that they do. Because if you don't, I'm going to question that. But again, a character we should have gotten from the film, but we didn't get. Can you answer? I mean, I'm just looking for answers. Why? Why didn't we get this character? Because it makes absolutely no sense. Sought after, people wanted it. No explanations. Y'all know who y'all are. It is what it is. Also, now, if we're talking about Black Panther, which again, another film or film that we already talked about with Okoye, there's another character that never made that jump into our figure collection, and that is Namor. This would have been an awesome figure to have in your collection. Seamless and all. Medical silicone, you already made that. We have that. But this would have been an awesome character to have in our collection, man, for real. Incredible character to have in our collection. And I'm pretty sure people would have accepted that. There was so much you could have actually done. You could have gave us him on his throne. Or I think it was a Megalodon. I don't know what it was. You could have gave us him on a throne. It would have been incredible. All the accessories, everything would have made so much sense, and this character would have went off. It would have went off. But it was a missed opportunity. Why? Was it because the show or the film was met with mixed reviews? It made an awful lot of money. It still made an awful lot of money. It didn't hit the $1 billion mark, but it still made an awful lot of money. But you didn't give us this figure. Why? Why? Doesn't make sense. Can you give us the explanation? Because I'm pretty sure these individuals had you actually, because they want to see themselves. They definitely want to see themselves. Saying, well, I was listening to Anthony Mackie talk about collecting all his figures. He collects all the figures that he actually has because he's a geek as well. So every figure that actually is released, he collects it. Why? Because he likes the representation. He wants to see himself on screen. One of the most controversial characters of them all, and this is because of what was said, and there's no dusting that off, man. Like, for real, like, this movie was as close to perfection as it could be cinematically, and a lot of people have gravitated to it. Case in point, you had the Batman figure that dropped from both Hot Toys and InArt and has done exceptionally well, sold out from both. What was the promo that was pushed during the summertime, right? The promo was pushed was Bat and the Cat, right? The promo for it that was pushed when this film was released was the Bat and the Cat. That's what we knew. The Bat and the Cat. And this is what we were going after. The Bat and the Cat. Zoe Kravitz did a great job as Catwoman. Aesthetically, I think it would have been a hard figure to actually release. Now, if it's licensing, put your money where your mouth is. Pay the woman. If she wants money, pay her if you really want it to happen. Because I think it would have been a 1-2 punch. I think basically, figuratively, and as residual, if you want to gain more money, I think this 1-2 punch would have been incredible. It would have been on point if you would have did this. People would have been collecting this. You give her in her cycle, the Batman, or what did they call him? What did they call him? What was it? It's the what's his name? I forget what they call him anyway. To have both of these two in your collection would have been incredible. And it's a no-brainer. It's just like you're leaving money on the table. Pattinson, that's what it is, Pattinson. But you're leaving money on the table with no excuses to me. There's no excuses to me at all as to why. It makes absolutely no sense. Still trying to wrap my head around it. But the excuse, or I don't even think there was excuse. I think it was, and for what I can't, don't quote me, but this is like they're not doing it. Case in point, Antarctica said we're not doing it. And we're not doing it. It's not on the docket. Even when we asked those years ago, it was danced around. They danced around it. Oh, we're just not doing it. It was a dance around. Oh, we don't know. It was always diverted. And I want to say this, because some of those answers back then, I was like, oh, really? Are you really? This is where we going? Because are you kidding me? You won't do this, but you'll do a Michael Jackson, which is an entertainer. But all of us don't, we're not just singers. Oh, we're going to do a Michael Jordan or whatever. Oh no, but we all of us don't bounce basketballs. We're not all athletes. We're not all entertainers. Some of us are entertainers on screen, but that's not all. We're not subjected to just that. So you go after what you deem as popular, but what a lot of these companies do not do is take risks. And it just seems like they're not willing to take risks on us. Literally. The Black and Hispanic community take up a large portion of this entire world, yet they're overlooked. And that to me is just really effed up. And I'm just being completely real. It's effed up. We make up a good chunk of this country, but yet we're overlooked. We don't want to take chances on that. I don't know. And even if you can even do it as a limited quantity, we don't want to take chances on that. Sad world. But anyway, like I said, I digress. But I will basically say this. At least we do get these figures like this. We are getting Anthony Mackie, representation of the American dream, or what the dream could be. Say that right off the bat. Or what the dream could be. Embodiment of what the dream could be. And that's what Sam Wilson, both Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers, represented a dream of what America could be. That's it. Do your research. Do your research. But we have this figure, and it's an incredible piece. I'm definitely happy to have that. Really happy to have that. I was talking about this yesterday. I'm happy to have a figure like this come out. Blue Eye Samurai, one of the most entertaining and incredible, and well done. It is a animated masterpiece. And I think that you would love it if you saw it. It's an incredible film. You would love it. I'm glad that we basically have it. And I'm glad that a third-party company is taking risks and taking chances. That's the most important thing, is they're taking chances and giving us the things that we want. Right? Right? Just got news today. What are we getting? News today. Like what figure is dropping? And which I'm definitely happy about. I'm happy because there's a space for it. It's a popular IP. What did we get? Squid Games, Song Jin Hoon. We got that, right? 1/6 scale collectible figure that's coming out. So I'm good. I'm glad to see this. I'm glad to see that, again, it's a very diverse Korean actor. He's incredible. But we're getting this. Now I'm not going to get it, but it's definitely worth having that conversation about, because it's definitely a figure that it needs to be featured. It needs to be talked about. And I'm glad that we're getting this. Honestly, I am. Because again, like I said, we are a very highly diverse collective group of individuals. And I'm so glad, and I'm so happy that we are getting these pieces. We're getting the one and only. I mean, come on, man. I mean, y'all already know how this is, and I'm pretty sure that you're happy about this, because I'm just as happy, and I'm overwhelmed with joy that we're getting this piece, and that's none other than Blade himself, Wesley Snipes. We're getting that Blade figure that's coming. I'm extremely happy about that. I cannot wait. Not to be sabotaged. So there can only be one. So I'm definitely happy about that. So I see signs. I'm seeing signs that you can, if you really want to, you can do it right. You can make good. You can give us the things that we actually want. It looks great. It really, really does. It really, really does. We're dabbling in the animated spectrum, and we're getting Miles from Across the Spider-Verse, another figure that people were extremely excited about, and that's here, along with the Miguel O'Hara 2099, Spider-Man 2099. So you're happy about that. I'm extremely happy about that. So again, there's some signs. There's hope. I don't want to be completely, negative about this experience so far. I want to say that there is hope. There is a space that we can all exist, and we're seeing that, but they just have to take more chances. Here's the thing. I want to even bring this up because I just received this figure this week, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, it is the most beautiful figure I've ever seen, and that's a Supergirl figure. This figure is phenomenal. It's incredible. It is incredible. The presence on this, Sasha Callier, who I think, I'm just going to call it right off the bat, is my Supergirl. I mean, that's who I would want to actually see more of. And no slight to Millie Alcott, because I can't wait to see that as well. But I wanted to see more of this Carzel. I wanted to basically see this. I wanted to see more of this particular character flourish and have a space. Didn't happen, but at least I have that representation in my collection. And I love it. I love this figure. She's Colombian, and I'm so glad to basically see that, again, with these figures, a lot of these figures, we're willing to be as diverse, and we're willing to give chances, and see a lot of these figures, a lot of them that we probably wouldn't see. And at least, and I can say for one thing, Hot Toys, out of all these companies, Hot Toys will take chances. And I can't say now Yost, I know Yost is definitely over there at Jazz Inc. He's definitely willing to take chances, and he's showing that he will. He's already basically in the circle of doing it. He's in the circle of having those conversations. At least he'll ask and he'll try. So I can say that about him. We're getting this Moon Knight. So I'm so glad that we're finally getting a head sculpt for that. Oscar Isaac, we're getting that. Fellow Cuban. So I'm definitely happy about that. The head sculpt looks incredible. It looks just like him. The likeness is there. It's highly incredible. So I'm glad that we're getting that. So again, there's hope. There's definitely hope. We live in a space of hope. We live in a space that, again, people can take those chances and give us the things that we want. But you have to be willing to take the risk. You definitely have to be willing to take that risk. You can't just reside in one space and act like everything else doesn't exist and that we don't exist, because we deserve to be here. We fought long and hard to be here, and we deserve to be here. We do. We deserve to be part of the discussion. We definitely do. And I would like to see more of that. Those characters that I mentioned earlier deserve their just due. They deserve a space. Literally, they do. So I didn't want to really talk your head off too much. I just kind of wanted to create this video because I felt compelled to do it. And I felt compelled to just kind of say that, look, it is Black History Month, but basically Black History Month is not just centered around, because to be quite honest, and you don't want me to be honest about this, but all of us are descendants, to be quite honest. They just don't want you to know it, but it is the truth. We all deserve to be celebrated, and we're all tied in and connected. And each culture needs to be celebrated, not just one, not just two, but all cultures need to be celebrated. In this collecting community, we want to see figures and characters that look like us and represent who we are. Literally. That gives us hope. At least that would give me hope. And that's something that I hope to see in the future. That's all I can say. I hope to see something like that in the future. If you're listening, if you're companies that are out there listening, if you're your Hot Toys, if you're in art, if you're Jazz Inc., Take chances, take risks, because you never know what the outcome will be. If you want it, go after it. And we are worth it. Doesn't matter if you're Black, Asian, Hispanic, Polynesian. It doesn't matter. Part of the LGBTQ community. It doesn't matter. We all are connected and we are included. And we deserve to be a part of that discussion, man. We deserve it. We deserve it. We deserve it. I think the world would be a happier place because of it. And on top of that, you make more money. This makes more sense. I wanted to do that. That's why I titled this, We Are In This Bitch, because we are. We are officially in this bitch. Now treat us like we are here and put some respect on that name. Make more diverse characters. Take the risk of actually doing it. Now, again, I want to say it like I said off the top. I know some people will watch this video and be like, oh, here we go, race card. No, it's not pulling a race card. It's the honest to God fucking truth. That's what it is. We need more diversity in this community. We need more figures that look like us. And stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. If you want us to spend $300 and $400 on figures that don't look like us, and we do it, then be willing to put the money on figures that do look like us so we can do it and pay you. It makes more sense. Come on, man. Enough is enough. I know a few content creators that don't agree with me and who openly told me that they don't. Because of that, we can walk away peacefully and say, hey, we can coexist in the same space in the community. We may not agree, but we can respectfully walk away from each other and have two totally different views. It ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm going to stand on business. I'm going to stand on business for the culture and any other culture that doesn't get the representation that they need. Plain and simple. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you are always up to date as to when we will be going live for even more videos like this, man. But I definitely thank you for your time if you're watching this, man. I love y'all. See y'all again. And this has been definitely another episode of The Corner. Peace. Be good.